In the hushed corridors of ancient faith, where the whispers of time linger like forgotten echoes, Christian mythology paints a rich tapestry filled with vibrant stories and powerful symbols. The Bible, with its grand narrative of creation, salvation, and prophecy, lays the foundation for a complex world of divine beings and supernatural forces. Yet, amidst the familiar angels and devils, there are shadowy corners where lesser-known creatures wait, their stories rarely told, but their impact profound. These creatures, though not always at the forefront of Christian teaching, carry a weight of mystery and intrigue. They live in the periphery of biblical accounts and ancient texts, often overlooked but deeply significant. From monstrous beings that evoke fear to guardians shrouded in ancient wisdom, each one represents a piece of a puzzle that completes the grand narrative of Christian mythology. Take, for instance, the Leviathan, a sea monster mentioned in the Bible. Often depicted as a fearsome, serpentine creature, it is more than just a symbol of chaos. It embodies the raw power of creation, the uncontrollable force that even the divine can tame. The Leviathan story speaks to our deepest fears and the hope that even the most chaotic elements can be controlled by a higher power. Then there is Behemoth, an enormous beast from the Book of Job. While commonly associated with the strength of nature itself, Behemoth is a reminder of the sheer majesty and grandeur of God's creation. Its existence, described in vivid detail, stirs a sense of awe and reverence, showcasing the might of the divine through the strength of this incredible creature. The Nephilim, those giants born from the union of fallen angels and human women, stir the imagination with their mysterious origins and tragic fate. Their story, though brief in the Bible, raises questions about the boundaries between the divine and the earthly, the sacred and the profane. Their presence in ancient texts challenges our understanding of what it means to be both human and divine. Lilith, often seen as a figure of darkness and rebellion, adds another layer to this tapestry. While her story is not part of the canonical Bible, she appears in various traditions as the first wife of Adam, a figure of strength and defiance. Her tale, full of struggle and defiance, highlights the complexities of the human spirit and the struggles against imposed roles. In the shadowy corners of Christian mythology, the creatures that lurk are not merely strange or frightening. They are powerful symbols of deeper truths and struggles. Each one carries a message, a lesson that speaks to the core of human experience and the mysteries of faith. These creatures, though less familiar, hold a special place in the fabric of Christian lore. Their stories, often hidden from mainstream view, offer a different perspective on the divine and the supernatural. They remind us that the world of Christian mythology is not just a collection of grand narratives and well-known figures, but also a vast, intricate web of lesser-known beings and tales that add depth and richness to the faith. As we ponder these enigmatic beings, we touch upon the very essence of human curiosity and wonder. These creatures, with their strange forms and mysterious origins, invite us to reflect on the unknown and the unexplained, encouraging a deeper exploration of our beliefs and the world around us. Through them, we come to appreciate the full spectrum of Christian mythology, embracing both its grandeur and its hidden corners. In the ancient and stormy seas of biblical history, there exists a creature so terrifying that its name still sends shivers down the spine, the Leviathan. This monstrous being, more than just a sea monster, represents the raw, untamed forces of chaos and power that lurk just beyond human control. Described in the Bible with dramatic and vivid imagery, the Leviathan is a creature of immense strength and fearsome presence. In the Book of Job, this beast is depicted with scales that are like armor, a roaring voice that echoes through the waters, and a breath that ignites flames. The Leviathan is not just a monster but a symbol of something much greater, the uncontrollable power of nature and the divine. Throughout biblical references, the Leviathan appears as a formidable challenge to human beings and even to the divine. In Job 41, the description is almost poetic, capturing the creature's awe-inspiring might. The Leviathan is portrayed as a beast that cannot be tamed by human hands, a force so overwhelming that it stands as a testament to the limits of human power and understanding. In the Psalms, the Leviathan is mentioned as a creature created by God to frolic in the sea. This description shifts the focus from pure terror to a sense of wonder and respect for the vastness of creation. It is as if the Leviathan is not merely a monster but a part of God's grand design, embodying the mystery and majesty of the world. Symbolically, the Leviathan represents more than just a physical threat. It is a powerful metaphor for the chaotic elements of the world that seem beyond human control. In ancient times, the sea was often seen as a symbol of chaos and danger, a place where the known world ended and the unknown began. The Leviathan, as a creature of the sea, embodies these fears, serving as a reminder of the limits of human control and the power of the divine. The impact of the Leviathan extends far beyond biblical texts. In literature and art, this fearsome creature has been used to symbolize various forms of chaos and struggle. From medieval bestiaries to modern fantasy novels, the Leviathan's image continues to captivate the imagination, representing everything from political turmoil to personal battles. Culturally, the Leviathan has inspired countless interpretations. In some traditions, it is seen as a symbol of evil, representing the forces of darkness that oppose the divine. In others, it is viewed as a manifestation of natural power, a reminder of the awesome and untamable forces that shape the world. This duality, both terrifying and awe-inspiring, captures the complex nature of human experience and understanding. The Leviathan's place in mythology also serves to highlight the deep respect and fear that ancient peoples had for the natural world. The creature's overwhelming power and the impossibility of human mastery over it reflect a broader understanding of nature as something both beautiful and terrifying, a force to be revered and respected. Through its vivid descriptions and symbolic meanings, the Leviathan remains a powerful image in the collective consciousness. It evokes a sense of both fear and wonder, capturing the essence of the unknown and the divine. The Leviathan reminds us of the profound mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of our understanding, challenging us to confront the limits of our control and embrace the awe of the natural world. In the pages of the ancient Bible, there exists a creature so immense and awe-inspiring that it captures the imagination and sends chills down the spine, the behemoth. This giant beast, described with a blend of reverence and fear, stands as a symbol of the raw power and majesty of creation, a reminder of the divine's might. The behemoth makes its grand appearance in the book of Job, where it is depicted as an enormous, formidable creature living on the earth. The text describes it with striking detail, its tail like a cedar, its bones like tubes of bronze, and its strength unmatched among the creatures of the land. The behemoth is not just an ordinary animal, it is a symbol of nature's grandeur, a living testament to the creativity and power of God. Scriptural descriptions of the behemoth paint a picture of a creature that is both awe-inspiring and slightly terrifying. Its sheer size and strength are beyond human comprehension, making it a symbol of the limits of human power and understanding. The imagery used to describe the behemoth, a giant with a tail like a cedar and a body of impenetrable strength, serves to highlight its majesty and dominance over the earthly realm. Theologically, the behemoth serves as a powerful symbol of God's creative authority and the greatness of his creations. The book of Job uses the behemoth to illustrate the idea that human beings, with all their knowledge and achievements, are still minuscule compared to the grandeur of God's work. The creature stands as a reminder that there are aspects of creation, like the behemoth, that are beyond human control and understanding, showcasing the divine's limitless power and creativity. The symbolic meaning of the behemoth extends beyond its physical description. It represents the untamed, raw forces of nature, the aspects of the world that cannot be easily controlled or subdued. In ancient times, the behemoth would have been seen as a powerful reminder of the wild and unpredictable elements of the earth, elements that defy human mastery and command a sense of awe and respect. The behemoth also serves to highlight the broader theme of God's sovereignty over creation. By illustrating the behemoth's power and majesty, the scripture emphasizes that even the greatest and most fearsome of creatures are under the dominion of the divine. This perspective invites readers to reflect on their own place within the grand scheme of creation and to recognize the limits of human power in the face of divine authority. In the tapestry of biblical symbolism, the behemoth is more than just a giant beast. It embodies the grandeur of the natural world and the divine power that governs it. Its portrayal in Scripture captures the essence of creation's magnificence and serves as a powerful testament to the awe-inspiring nature of the divine. The behemoth stands as a living symbol of the eternal and uncontainable force of God, challenging human beings to acknowledge the vastness and mystery of creation and to find humility in the face of such overwhelming power. In the early whispers of ancient scripture, there is a story that sends shivers through the ages, the tale of the Nephilim. These giants of the pre-flood world are both awe-inspiring and mysterious, their shadowy presence haunting the fringes of biblical history. The Nephilim story is one of grandeur, fear, and a touch of divine mystery. The book of Genesis introduces the Nephilim with a chilling sense of dread. These beings are described as the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men, their presence marking a time of great wickedness and turmoil. They are giants, colossal figures whose very existence seems to defy the ordinary laws of nature. In Genesis 6 verse 4, the Nephilim are mentioned briefly, their nature and deeds only hinted at but leaving a powerful impression. Biblical accounts offer scant details about the Nephilim, but their mention is enough to spark the imagination. Some interpretations suggest that these giants were fallen angels who took on human forms, leading to a hybrid race that roamed the earth before the flood. Their presence is often linked to the great corruption and violence that led to God's decision to cleanse the world with the deluge. The Nephilim, in this view, represent the height of human and divine rebellion, a living testament to a world out of balance. In Christian mythology and folklore, the Nephilim have taken on various forms and meanings. Over time, they have been portrayed as more than just giants. They have become symbols of the extraordinary and the otherworldly. Some stories paint them as powerful, almost godlike beings who held dominion over the earth. Their legend has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film, each interpretation adding layers to their already complex myth. The Nephilim's role in folklore often centers around their immense power and the chaos they brought. They are seen as beings who defied the divine order, their very existence challenging the boundaries between heaven and earth. Their story serves as a dramatic backdrop to the narrative of the flood, symbolizing the end of an era of great but flawed beings and the beginning of a new order. In the shadows of these myths, the Nephilim evoke a sense of tragic grandeur. They are beings caught between two worlds, their existence a reminder of the consequences of overstepping divine boundaries. Their story is one of both wonder and fear, illustrating the dangers of mixing the divine with the earthly and the ultimate price of such transgressions. As the legends of the Nephilim have evolved, they have also become a powerful metaphor for human ambition and hubris. Their towering figures and their fall from grace remind us of the perils of overreaching, of trying to surpass the natural limits set by the divine. They symbolize the ultimate consequence of defying the balance of the universe, a cautionary tale about the dangers of human pride and the overwhelming power of divine judgment. Through their enigmatic and chilling presence, the Nephilim continue to captivate and haunt. They embody the awe-inspiring and terrifying aspects of the supernatural, their story a potent reminder of the mysteries that lie just beyond the edge of human understanding. The giants of the pre-flood world remain a powerful symbol of the complex interplay between the divine and the earthly, their legend enduring through the ages as a haunting and evocative tale of grandeur and fall. In the shadowy corners of ancient legend, where whispers of forgotten lore linger like ghosts, one figure stands out with a haunting allure, Lilith. Known as the mythical first wife of Adam, her story pulses with mystery and defiance, echoing through the ages with a mix of fear and fascination. Lilith's tale begins in the depths of Jewish folklore, far from the pages of the Bible where most stories are rooted. According to these ancient texts, Lilith was created as Adam's first wife, made from the same earth as he was. Unlike Eve, who was fashioned from Adam's rib, Lilith was his equal, made from the same material and, therefore, considered his counterpart. This initial equality was destined to unravel in a story of struggle and rebellion. The legend tells of Lilith's refusal to submit to Adam. Unwilling to be subservient, she left the Garden of Eden, choosing instead to wander the wilderness. Her departure marked the beginning of her transformation from a figure of equality into one of darker connotations. She became a symbol of rebellion against patriarchal dominance, embodying the conflict between independence and obedience. In Jewish folklore, Lilith is often portrayed as a demoness, her image shifting from a figure of defiance to one of danger. She is said to have haunted the night, preying on newborns and pregnant women, and her story intertwines with ancient fears of female power and autonomy. Her transformation into a demoness reflects a deep-seated anxiety about women who refuse to conform to societal expectations. Christian adaptations of Lilith's legend have varied over the centuries. In some interpretations, she is viewed through the lens of demonology, her name associated with dark and malevolent forces. She appears in various apocryphal texts and writings, often depicted as a seductive and dangerous figure. This portrayal amplifies the fear and allure surrounding her, framing her as a figure of chaos and temptation. Lilith's representations have sparked intense debates and emotional responses throughout history. In some traditions, she is seen as a feminist icon, a symbol of the struggle for equality and autonomy. Her refusal to be subservient to Adam becomes a powerful statement about the right to resist and challenge oppressive systems. For others, she remains a cautionary figure, representing the dangers of defying divine order and societal norms. The significance of Lilith's story lies in her embodiment of both defiance and fear. Her character challenges traditional roles and highlights the tensions between freedom and submission. As a mythical figure, she captures the essence of both the allure and danger of stepping outside established boundaries. Lilith's tale speaks to the heart of human fears and desires, making her a compelling and evocative figure whose legend continues to resonate through the ages. In the shadows of her myth, Lilith remains a powerful symbol of rebellion and autonomy. Her story, with its rich layers of defiance and transformation, continues to stir emotions and provoke thought. She is a haunting reminder of the complexities of human nature and the struggles inherent in the quest for freedom and identity. In the shadowy world of ancient texts and dark legends, one name stands out with a chilling and irresistible allure: Asmodeus. Known as the demon of lust, Asmodeus weaves a tale of temptation and corruption that grips the imagination and stirs the deepest fears. Biblical references to Asmodeus are sparse and indirect, yet his presence looms large in apocryphal writings and later demonology. In the Book of Tobit, a text not included in the canonical Bible but revered in some traditions, Asmodeus appears as a formidable force. He is described as a demon who tormented a young woman named Sarah by killing her 7 husbands on their wedding nights. His cruelty and malevolence are tied to his desire to disrupt the sanctity of marriage and sow discord. Asmodeus's role in these stories is not just as a tormentor but as a symbol of profound and destructive lust. His actions reflect the ancient fear of unchecked desire and its potential to corrupt and destroy. In the Book of Tobit, his influence is a dark force that preys on the innocence and purity of marital relationships, emphasizing the dangers of allowing lust to overpower love and commitment. In Christian demonology, Asmodeus is often depicted as a powerful and malicious entity with a specific focus on corrupting human relationships. He is sometimes shown with a hideous appearance, embodying the very essence of depravity and moral decay. His role is to incite lust and seduction, leading people away from virtue and into the depths of sin. The fear surrounding Asmodeus is not just about his actions, but what he represents. He embodies the destructive power of unchecked lust and the chaos it can bring. In demonological traditions, Asmodeus is not only a demon of lust, but also a figure who symbolizes the broader dangers of indulgence and moral corruption. His presence in stories and texts serves as a powerful reminder of the need for self-control and the dangers of allowing desires to consume one's soul. Asmodeus's tale touches on the heart of human fears and vulnerabilities. The idea of a demon specifically targeting the sanctity of relationships and sowing discord taps into deep anxieties about intimacy and trust. The terror associated with Asmodeus reflects a broader fear of the potential for internal desires to lead to external ruin, a fear that resonates through the ages. In the larger landscape of Christian demonology, Asmodeus occupies a place of significant importance. His character serves as a dark reflection of human passions and weaknesses, a cautionary figure warning against the dangers of letting lust overshadow love and commitment. His legend speaks to the powerful and often destructive nature of unchecked desires, making him a figure of both fear and fascination. Asmodeus's story, with its blend of ancient fear and moral warning, continues to captivate and disturb. His role as the demon of lust is a powerful symbol of the darker aspects of human nature, a reminder of the potential for inner desires to lead to profound and tragic consequences. The chilling tales of his influence leave a lasting impact, reflecting deep-seated fears and the complexities of the human soul. In the ancient texts of the Bible, there lies a story both haunting and profound, the tale of Azazel, the scapegoat demon. Azazel is a figure shrouded in mystery and darkness, embodying the profound ritual of casting out sins and the deep fears associated with them. The Book of Leviticus, a cornerstone of biblical law, introduces Azazel in a ritual that would have sent chills through the ancient Israelites. During the Day of Atonement, 2 goats were selected, one to be sacrificed to the Lord, and the other to be sent into the wilderness for Azazel. This second goat, the scapegoat, was burdened with the sins of the people and then driven away into the desert, carrying with it the weight of their transgressions. Azazel was the destination, a place associated with the removal of sin and impurity. In this ritual, Azazel's role is both eerie and symbolic. The idea of a scapegoat, laden with the sins of the community, sent away into the wilderness, reflects an ancient understanding of sin and purity. The goat, associated with Azazel, symbolized the removal of evil from the people, casting it into a desolate place far from the community. This act of sending the sins away was believed to cleanse the people, offering a sense of relief and renewal. Azazel's role in this ritual highlights the deep-seated belief in the need to transfer and expel sin. By associating sin with a tangible figure and sending it into the wilderness, the ritual provided a powerful and visceral way to deal with the weight of human failings. The act of sending the scapegoat away was not just a symbolic gesture, but a profound ritual of purification and redemption. Interpretations of Azazel have varied widely. In some traditions, Azazel is seen as a demon or a fallen angel, embodying the darker forces of the wilderness. The name Azazel itself has been linked to concepts of desolation and separation, reinforcing the idea of removing evil from the community. In other interpretations, Azazel is considered a representation of the wilderness itself, a place where sin and impurity were symbolically banished. The mythological significance of Azazel extends beyond the Book of Leviticus. In various texts and traditions, Azazel is portrayed as a figure of chaos and darkness, a symbol of the harsh and unyielding aspects of the natural world. This depiction underscores the fear and respect ancient peoples had for the forces that lay beyond their control and understanding. Azazel's presence in these rituals and myths evokes a profound sense of unease and awe. The idea of a demon or spirit to which sins are cast away reflects a deep-seated fear of impurity and a powerful need for atonement. The ritual of the scapegoat, with its chilling and evocative symbolism, serves as a reminder of the ancient struggle to confront and cleanse sin, and the lengths to which people would go to seek purification and forgiveness. In the shadows of Azazel's story, there lies a powerful and haunting reminder of the human quest for redemption and the fear of being tainted by sin. The rituals associated with Azazel, and the figure itself, capture the deep emotional and spiritual struggles faced by ancient peoples, offering a glimpse into their understanding of sin, purity, and the supernatural. In the shadowy corners of medieval lore, one figure stands out with an eerie and enigmatic allure: Baphomet. This idol, shrouded in mystery and controversy, has captivated imaginations and sparked fear with its chilling appearance and ambiguous symbolism. Baphomet first emerges in medieval Christianity, where it was linked to the Knights Templar, a medieval order of knights. The Templars were accused of heresy and satanic practices during the Inquisition, and Baphomet became a symbol of their alleged transgressions. Descriptions of Baphomet from this period are vague, but they suggest an idol that was both exotic and unsettling. The Templars were said to worship this figure in secret, and Baphomet became a symbol of forbidden knowledge and dark rituals. The image of Baphomet as a goat-headed figure, with horns and a human body, was popularized much later. It was in the 19th century that Baphomet took on its most iconic form, thanks to the French occultist Eliphas Levi. He depicted Baphomet as a winged, androgynous being with the head of a goat, a human torso, and a mixture of male and female characteristics. Levi's illustration, known as the Baphomet of Mendes, became the archetype for modern depictions of this mysterious idol. The symbolism associated with Baphomet is complex and layered. On one hand, Baphomet's goat head represents a connection to the natural world and primal instincts. The horns and the animalistic features evoke a sense of ancient power and the untamed forces of nature. The androgynous body symbolizes the unity of opposites, suggesting a balance between male and female energies, light and dark, good and evil. In this light, Baphomet could be seen as a representation of the dualities that exist within all things. However, the image of Baphomet has often been misconstrued and misused. In popular culture and various conspiracy theories, Baphomet is frequently associated with satanic worship and dark magic. This portrayal distorts its original meaning, painting it as a symbol of evil and corruption rather than a complex emblem of balance and primal force. The fear surrounding Baphomet often stems from misunderstandings and the dramatic legends that have built up around it over time. The misconceptions about Baphomet are deeply intertwined with the fears and anxieties of different historical periods. During the medieval era, the image of Baphomet was used to demonize and vilify the Knights Templar, reflecting the broader anxieties about heresy and the unknown. In more recent times, Baphomet has become a figure of fascination and dread in occult and horror literature, further perpetuating the myths and fears associated with it. Despite the misconceptions, Baphomet's true significance lies in its representation of the balance between opposites and the primal forces of nature. The figure embodies the complexities of human understanding, challenging simple categorizations of good and evil. Its image, with its mix of human and animal features, invites contemplation of the deeper, often unsettling aspects of existence. In the dark recesses of history and myth, Baphomet stands as a haunting and powerful symbol. Its image, with its blend of human and animal traits, evokes a deep sense of mystery and awe. The idol's true meaning, obscured by layers of fear and misunderstanding, speaks to the complexities of human nature and the enigmatic forces that lie just beyond our grasp. In the shadowy corners of early Christian lore, a figure slithers through the darkness with a chilling presence, the Wyrm. This serpentine demon, both terrifying and captivating, weaves a story that grips the imagination and evokes a primal fear of the unknown. The Wyrm makes its earliest appearances in ancient texts, where it is depicted as a monstrous serpent or dragon. In scriptural references, the Wyrm is often associated with chaos and evil, embodying the serpentine forces that threaten to undo the divine order. In the Book of Revelation, a creature akin to the Wyrm is described as a great dragon, symbolizing the ultimate enemy of God and humanity. This image of a fearsome serpent serves as a powerful metaphor for the forces of darkness and sin that lurk beneath the surface of the world. Historical accounts paint the Wyrm as a figure of immense dread and danger. The early Christians, grappling with their understanding of good and evil, saw the Wyrm as a direct challenge to divine authority. It was a creature that slithered through the annals of myth and scripture, representing the primal fears of chaos and destruction that threatened the stability of creation. Its presence in these texts reflects a deep-seated anxiety about the power of evil and the constant struggle to maintain moral and spiritual order. As Christian thought evolved, so too did the figure of the Wyrm. Over time, the Wyrm's image expanded beyond its scriptural origins. It became a symbol of the serpentine forces that plagued human existence, embodying the ever-present threat of sin and corruption. In medieval Christian writings, the Wyrm was often depicted as a creature of the underworld, a symbol of the demonic forces that lurked in the dark corners of the world. Its serpentine form made it a fitting emblem for the treacherous and deceitful nature of evil. The Wyrm's evolution in Christian thought reflects broader themes of fear and morality. In early Christian teachings, the Wyrm represented the chaotic forces that sought to undermine divine order. As theological concepts developed, the Wyrm came to symbolize the insidious and corrupting nature of sin. Its serpentine form, with its ability to slither and coil, became a metaphor for the deceptive and destructive power of evil that could infiltrate and corrupt even the most sacred aspects of life. In literature and folklore, the WYRM's image continued to evolve. It became associated with various forms of evil, from monstrous dragons to sinister serpents, each reflecting different aspects of the demonic and the corrupt. The WYRM's presence in these stories serves as a powerful reminder of the ever-present threat of evil and the need to remain vigilant against the forces that seek to unravel the fabric of virtue and righteousness. The figure of the WYRM, with its serpentine form and dark associations, evokes a deep sense of fear and awe. It represents the primal anxieties about the forces of chaos and corruption that lurk just beyond the edges of human understanding. The evolution of the WYRM in Christian thought highlights the ongoing struggle to confront and overcome the darkness that threatens to engulf the world. Its legacy, both terrifying and fascinating, remains a powerful symbol of the battle between light and darkness, good and evil. The tension in the room was palpable, like a storm brewing just beyond the horizon. Every shadow seemed to whisper, every creak of the floor echoed with secrets yet to be spoken. This was a place where the ancient and the mysterious converged, where the past reached out with fingers long buried in the dust of forgotten legends. In the dim light, a figure slowly emerged from the darkness, its presence sending a shiver down the spine. It was not just any figure, but a symbol of dread and awe that had haunted the edges of human understanding for centuries. This was a being that had been crafted from the fears and uncertainties of ages long past, a creature that had lingered in the minds of those who dared to confront the unknown. The whispers of ancient texts painted it as a dark and formidable entity. Its story was woven into the fabric of myth and legend, each thread adding to the chilling tapestry that captivated the imagination. Its eyes, if it had eyes, seemed to reflect the very essence of fear, a primal, deep-seated terror that spoke of things beyond the realm of human comprehension. It was a shadowy reminder of the darkness that lurks just out of sight, a whisper of what might be if one were to stray too far from the safety of the known world. This entity was not merely a figure of fright, it was a mirror reflecting the darkest corners of the human psyche. It held within it the weight of ancient fears, the kind that gnaw at the edges of consciousness and threaten to pull one into an abyss of uncertainty. Each story told about it was more than a tale of horror, it was a profound commentary on the fears and struggles that define the human condition. Its very existence was a testament to the power of myth to capture and embody the most primal fears of all. In the quiet of the night, as the moon cast its pale light, the figure stood as a silent sentinel, guarding the secrets of the past. It was a reminder of the fragile line that separates the known from the unknown, of the thin veneer of civilization that barely masks the chaos beneath. The entity's presence spoke to a deep and unsettling truth, that the boundaries between the world of the living and the world of the unseen are not as firm as one might hope. Each tale and legend surrounding this figure added a new layer to its already formidable presence. The stories were not just idle fancies, but reflections of deep-seated fears and long-held beliefs. They spoke of battles between light and darkness, of struggles to understand the nature of evil and the forces that lurk beyond the realm of the seen. The figure, in its silence, became a repository of these fears, a symbol of the eternal struggle to comprehend and confront the unknown. As the darkness closed in, the figure seemed to grow more defined, its form more tangible, and the air grew colder. It was as though the very essence of fear had taken shape, standing before those who dared to look into the void. Its presence was a stark reminder of the power of myth to shape and influence the human psyche, to capture the essence of our deepest fears and transform them into something palpable and real. In that moment, as the darkness surrounded and the shadows danced, the figure stood as a testament to the enduring power of myth and legend. It was a reminder of the ancient fears that still resonate in the modern world, of the darkness that lies just beneath the surface of our understanding. The stories told of this being were more than just tales, they were a reflection of the eternal struggle to confront and understand the darkness that lies at the heart of human experience. In the heart of ancient scriptural texts, a group of celestial beings stands as both awe-inspiring and enigmatic, the cherubim. These guardians of the divine embody a profound and mysterious role, their presence commanding reverence and stirring the deepest emotions. The cherubim are first introduced in the Bible with an intensity that captures the imagination. Descriptions of these celestial beings are vivid and otherworldly. They are often depicted with multiple wings and faces, sometimes a lion, an ox, an eagle, and a human, each face reflecting different aspects of divine power and majesty. Their wings are spread wide, their eyes are unblinking, and their presence is a mixture of awe and terror. They are not mere messengers or simple figures of praise, they are the very guardians of the sacred. In the book of Genesis, the cherubim are set to guard the Garden of Eden after Adam and Eve's expulsion. This is no ordinary task, it is a divine assignment to protect the most sacred of places from human reach. Their presence at the entrance to Eden, holding flaming swords, symbolizes the impenetrable barrier between the divine and the mortal, the holy and the profane. This act of guarding is more than physical protection, it represents a deeper, spiritual boundary that separates humanity from the divine presence. In the construction of the tabernacle and later the temple in Jerusalem, the cherubim are given a place of honor. They are depicted as part of the elaborate designs in the Holy of Holies, the most sacred part of the temple. Their presence here is not just decorative but symbolic of the divine protection that surrounds the most holy space. The cherubim are described as overshadowing the mercy seat of the Ark of the Covenant, their wings extending over it, creating a space where the divine presence is believed to dwell. This depiction reinforces their role as guardians, not just of physical space, but of the very presence of God among His people. The cherubim's role extends beyond mere guardianship. They are symbols of the divine mystery and majesty. Their multifaceted appearance and the sacred spaces they protect convey a deep truth about the nature of the divine, that it is both accessible and beyond reach, both familiar and profoundly other. They remind humanity of the sacredness of the divine and the need for reverence and respect in its presence. The fear and awe associated with them speak to the deep emotional and spiritual impact they have on those who encounter them or even think about their role. In the ancient mind, the cherubim are a bridge between the divine and the human, representing the boundaries that cannot be crossed without due reverence. They embody the profound respect and awe that the divine commands. Their very appearance, complex, powerful, and otherworldly, reflects the deep sense of mystery that surrounds the sacred and the divine. The image of these powerful beings with their solemn duty to guard the divine presence is a potent symbol of the respect and fear that the sacred commands. The stories and descriptions of the cherubim stir a deep emotional response, tapping into the universal feelings of wonder and reverence that the divine evokes. They remind us of the limits of human understanding and the vastness of the divine mystery. Their role as guardians of sacred spaces underscores the profound truth that the divine is both intimately involved in human affairs and infinitely beyond them. In every account and description, the cherubim stand as a powerful symbol of the divine's majesty and mystery. Their role as guardians is not just about physical protection, but about maintaining the sanctity of the divine presence. They embody the awe and reverence that the sacred demands, serving as a constant reminder of the profound divide between the human and the divine. In the shadows of ancient texts lies a tale both haunting and profound, the story of the Watchers, a group of fallen angels whose actions left a deep mark on the world. Their story, shrouded in mystery and tragedy, resonates with a chilling intensity that echoes through history and literature. The Watchers first emerged in the Book of Enoch, a text that exists on the fringes of traditional scripture but offers a vivid account of these celestial beings. According to the Book of Enoch, the Watchers were angels assigned to observe and guide humanity. However, their purpose took a dark turn when they descended to earth, captivated by human women. Their descent was more than just physical, it symbolized a profound disobedience and a breach of divine order. The Watchers' actions were not merely a rebellion, they were a cosmic event with profound consequences. These angels, once noble and pure, took human wives and fathered a race of giants known as the Nephilim. This act of transgression brought chaos and suffering to the world, as the giants wreaked havoc upon humanity. The very fabric of creation seemed to tremble under the weight of this defiance. The Book of Enoch describes these giants as beings of immense power and violence, causing widespread corruption and bloodshed. The influence of the Watchers' deeds extended far beyond their immediate actions. Their story became a cautionary tale, a powerful symbol of the dangers of crossing divine boundaries and the catastrophic consequences of such rebellion. The Book of Enoch, though not included in the canon of most Christian traditions, deeply influenced the understanding of fallen angels and their impact on the world. The Watcher's story resonated through Christian and apocryphal literature, shaping ideas about sin, judgment, and divine retribution. In Christian tradition, the Watcher's influence is seen through their depiction as fallen angels who transgress the divine order. Their rebellion is often linked with the broader narrative of Lucifer and the fallen angels cast out of heaven. The Watcher's story serves as a precursor to these themes, illustrating the consequences of defying divine authority and the corruption that can arise from such actions. Their narrative adds depth to the understanding of celestial rebellion and divine justice. Apocryphal literature expands on the story of the Watchers, weaving their tale into a broader tapestry of myth and legend. In these texts, the Watchers are portrayed as powerful beings whose actions precipitated a series of cosmic events. Their fall from grace and the subsequent punishment they receive highlight the themes of divine judgment and redemption. The Watcher's story becomes a central piece in the exploration of the limits of angelic authority and the interplay between the celestial and the mortal. The emotional weight of the Watcher's tale lies in its depiction of lost potential and tragic downfall. Once beings of light and purpose, the Watchers became symbols of the devastating effects of crossing boundaries and succumbing to temptation. Their story is a poignant reminder of the fragility of divine order and the far-reaching consequences of defying it. The giants they fathered, the chaos they unleashed, and the ultimate judgment they faced create a narrative filled with tragedy and dread. As their story reverberates through the ages, the Watchers stand as a powerful symbol of the complexity of divine justice and the intricacies of moral choices. Their actions serve as a stark reminder of the delicate balance between celestial and earthly realms, and the profound impact that even a single act of rebellion can have on the world. The tale of the Watchers, with its mix of grandeur and tragedy, continues to captivate and haunt, offering a glimpse into the dark side of divine intervention and the eternal struggle between order and chaos. In the twilight between myth and reality, there lurks a sinister presence that captures the imagination, the Draconians. These dragon-like beings, shrouded in shadow and fear, weave through Christian tradition with a haunting allure that speaks to the deepest anxieties of the human spirit. The Draconians first emerge from the mists of history and myth, their form reminiscent of ancient dragons, serpentine creatures with an air of both majesty and terror. Their roots can be traced through a blend of historical accounts and mythological tales, each contributing to a rich and unsettling tapestry. In early Christian tradition, these dragon-like beings are not merely creatures of folklore, but symbols of a deeper, more profound struggle. Scriptural references to dragon-like beings often evoke a sense of dread and awe. The Book of Revelation, with its vivid and apocalyptic imagery, describes a great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns, a creature that symbolizes the ultimate force of evil and chaos. This dragon is a powerful figure, embodying the forces of darkness that oppose the divine order. The vivid descriptions of this dragon create an emotional resonance that reflects humanity's deepest fears and struggles with the concept of ultimate evil. The historical depiction of Draconians draws from various sources, blending elements of ancient dragon myths with Christian interpretations. In many cultures, dragons are seen as formidable adversaries, creatures of great power that must be vanquished to restore order and balance. The Christian adaptation of these dragon-like beings incorporates these themes, portraying them as embodiments of sin and corruption. The dragons become symbols of the chaotic forces that threaten to upend the divine order, serving as a metaphor for the internal and external struggles faced by humanity. Symbolically, Draconians represent more than just physical threats. They embody the fears and anxieties associated with the battle between good and evil. The dragon's form, with its serpentine body and fearsome visage, serves as a powerful symbol of the dangers that lurk beyond the safe confines of the known world. These creatures are often depicted as enemies of God and humanity, their very presence a challenge to the divine order and a reminder of the ever-present danger of moral and spiritual corruption. In the Christian tradition, the role of Draconians extends beyond mere representation. They are often seen as agents of chaos and destruction, forces that must be confronted and overcome in the ongoing struggle between good and evil. Their depiction as dragon-like beings highlights the dramatic and intense nature of this struggle, emphasizing the profound emotional and spiritual stakes involved. The battles against these creatures are not just physical conflicts, but symbolic representations of the inner turmoil and moral challenges faced by individuals and societies. The story of the Draconians is both chilling and captivating, evoking a deep emotional response that resonates with the universal fears of evil and chaos. Their presence in Christian tradition serves as a powerful reminder of the ever-present threat of darkness and the need for vigilance and courage in the face of adversity. The rich imagery and symbolism associated with these dragon-like beings create a sense of awe and dread, capturing the essence of the battle between light and darkness that defines the human experience. As the Draconians continue to captivate the imagination, their legacy endures as a symbol of the complex and often terrifying struggle between good and evil. Their dragon-like form and the profound symbolism associated with them speak to the deepest fears and aspirations of humanity, offering a haunting and evocative portrayal of the eternal conflict that shapes the human condition. In the dim recesses of medieval folklore, where shadows twist and turn, lurk two figures that embody both fear and fascination, the incubus and succubus. These demonic seducers are not just creatures of the night, they are embodiments of some of humanity's darkest anxieties and desires. The incubus, a male demon, is often depicted as a terrifying figure who preys on women in their sleep. He is said to visit them in the dead of night, cloaked in a shroud of darkness, bringing with him a chilling sense of dread. His presence is not merely physical, but deeply psychological. The incubus represents a violation of both body and spirit, an invasion that strikes at the core of personal security and trust. The very thought of such a creature evokes a visceral reaction, a blend of fear and revulsion that echoes through the corridors of history and culture. Similarly, the succubus, her female counterpart, is a demon who targets men, often in their dreams. She is depicted as both alluring and malevolent, using her beauty and charm to seduce her victims. The succubus symbolizes a seductive danger, a tempting yet perilous force that preys on the weaknesses and vulnerabilities of the human soul. Her allure is not just physical but emotional, drawing victims into a web of deceit and despair. The encounter with a succubus is not merely a battle of the flesh, but a profound psychological struggle, highlighting the fear of losing control and falling prey to forbidden desires. The origins of these demonic figures can be traced back through a mix of Christian theology and medieval folklore. In early Christian thought, demons were believed to be fallen angels who had chosen to rebel against God. Over time, these beings took on specific roles and characteristics, with the incubus and succubus emerging as symbols of sexual temptation and spiritual corruption. Medieval stories and legends amplified their fearsome qualities, portraying them as creatures of the night who thrived on exploiting human weaknesses. In medieval Europe, tales of the incubus and succubus were not just ghost stories but a reflection of the cultural anxieties of the time. These beings were often used to explain unexplained phenomena, such as sleep disturbances or sexual dysfunction. They became convenient scapegoats for personal and societal fears, embodying the terror of the unknown and the taboo. The stories surrounding them provided a way to express and confront these fears, even as they reinforced the sense of dread associated with them. The impact of the incubus and succubus on culture is profound and far-reaching. They have inspired countless works of literature, art, and folklore, serving as powerful symbols of the dangers of unchecked desire and the consequences of moral transgression. Their presence in these works reflects a deep-seated fear of losing control and falling victim to forces beyond one's understanding. The portrayal of these demonic seducers often evokes a sense of helplessness and terror, capturing the emotional intensity of confronting such primal fears. The legacy of the incubus and succubus continues to influence modern culture. Their stories are not just relics of medieval superstition, but enduring symbols of the darker aspects of human nature. They appear in contemporary media and literature, often reimagined and adapted to fit modern sensibilities, but retaining their core essence of fear and seduction. The fascination with these figures speaks to a universal concern with the boundaries between desire and danger, innocence and corruption. As the stories of the incubus and succubus echo through the ages, they serve as a stark reminder of the power of myth and folklore to capture the deepest fears and desires of the human psyche. Their legacy endures as a testament to the ways in which culture grapples with the darker aspects of existence, using these demonic figures to explore and express the complexities of human experience. In the chilling quiet of twilight, when shadows stretch and the air grows heavy with unspoken fears, one figure stands as the ultimate harbinger of the end, the Grim Reaper. This spectral figure, cloaked in darkness and wielding a scythe, embodies the profound and often terrifying concept of death itself. The Grim Reaper's origins are deeply rooted in Christian thought and medieval symbolism. The image of death as a cloaked figure with a scythe evolved over centuries, drawing on earlier depictions of death as a skeletal figure. In medieval Europe, death was often personified as a ghastly specter, reflecting the period's preoccupation with mortality and the afterlife. This spectral figure, known for harvesting souls with a scythe, symbolized the inescapable nature of death. The scythe, originally a tool for reaping crops, became a metaphor for the inevitable end of life, cutting down the living as one would cut down grain. In Christian thought, the Grim Reaper serves as a powerful reminder of the impermanence of life. The figure of death is not just an end, but a transition, a passage from the earthly realm to the eternal. The Reaper's presence in Christian imagery reflects the belief in an afterlife, a continuation beyond death where the soul is judged and assigned to its eternal destiny. The Reaper's role is thus both feared and revered, representing the divine balance of life and death, a necessary part of the cosmic order. The Grim Reaper's evolution through Christian tradition reflects broader cultural anxieties and beliefs about mortality. In earlier Christian art and literature, death was often depicted as a more abstract concept, sometimes personified as a skeletal figure or a menacing angel. Over time, these depictions became more concrete, with the Grim Reaper emerging as a recognizable and haunting figure. This evolution reflects a growing cultural focus on the personal and immediate aspects of death, emphasizing the Reaper's role in individual lives and experiences. Symbolically, the Grim Reaper represents the inevitable end that awaits all humanity. The figure's cloak and skeletal visage evoke a sense of dread and finality, capturing the universal fear of the unknown that accompanies death. The scythe, a tool for harvesting, underscores the idea that life is cyclical and that death is a natural part of this cycle. The Reaper's appearance at the end of life symbolizes the final reckoning, a moment when every soul must face its ultimate fate. The cultural influence of the Grim Reaper is profound and far-reaching. This figure has appeared in countless works of art, literature, and popular culture, each adaptation reflecting the prevailing attitudes towards death and the afterlife. In medieval paintings and manuscripts, the Grim Reaper is often depicted in scenes of apocalypse or judgment, emphasizing the figure's role in the divine plan. In literature, the Reaper appears as both a literal and metaphorical figure, representing the finality of death and the mysteries that lie beyond. In modern culture, the Grim Reaper has taken on a more varied role, appearing in everything from horror films to comic books. These depictions often blend the traditional image of death with contemporary themes, reflecting society's evolving attitudes towards mortality. Despite these adaptations, the core essence of the Grim Reaper remains the same, a powerful symbol of the inescapable end that awaits every life. The Grim Reaper's enduring presence in cultural narratives highlights the deep and often unsettling emotions associated with death. This figure evokes a profound sense of awe and fear, capturing the complexity of human feelings towards the end of life. The Reaper's role as both a symbol of finality and a reminder of the eternal underscores the intricate relationship between life and death, and the ways in which these themes continue to resonate through history and culture. As the Grim Reaper's shadow falls across the pages of history and culture, it serves as a stark reminder of the profound and often unsettling truths about mortality. This spectral figure, with its scythe and cloak, stands as a powerful symbol of the end that awaits every life, reflecting the deep fears and awe that surround the concept of death. In the haunting stillness of the night, when the veil between worlds grows thin, the mournful wail of the banshee echoes through the air, a chilling cry that sends shivers down the spine. This spectral figure, rooted deeply in Celtic Christian folklore, embodies the sorrowful and foreboding presence of death. The origins of the Banshee are steeped in ancient Celtic traditions, where she is known as a spirit of great lamentation. In the folklore of Ireland and Scotland, the Banshee is often depicted as a ghostly woman who appears to foretell the death of a loved one. Her wail, a piercing and mournful sound, is said to be an omen of impending tragedy, signaling that someone dear will soon pass away. The Banshee's cry is more than just a warning. It is a profound expression of grief, a haunting reminder of the inevitable end that awaits everyone. The image of the Banshee varies across different stories and traditions. Sometimes she is portrayed as a beautiful woman with flowing hair, her face marked by tears. In other tales, she appears as an old crone, her appearance a stark contrast to her sorrowful role. Despite these variations, the essence of the Banshee remains the same, a spectral figure whose wail is an echo of the profound grief and loss that death brings. The Banshee's role in Celtic folklore is deeply intertwined with the themes of death and mourning. Her presence is not merely a supernatural event, but a deeply emotional one, reflecting the intense feelings of sadness and loss experienced by those left behind. The wail of the Banshee serves as both a warning and a symbol of the grief that follows death, embodying the sorrowful transition from life to the afterlife. As Christianity spread through the Celtic regions, the Banshee's role evolved, blending with Christian beliefs about the afterlife and the spiritual world. The Banshee became a part of a broader narrative about the spiritual realm, reflecting the deep-seated fears and hopes associated with death. Her wail, once purely a pagan symbol, took on new layers of meaning as it intersected with Christian notions of judgment and the soul's journey after death. The adaptations of the Banshee in later literature and popular culture highlight her enduring presence and the emotional impact of her story. In some modern portrayals, the Banshee is depicted in supernatural thrillers and horror tales, her wail a central element in the narrative's tension and suspense. These adaptations often focus on the eerie and unsettling aspects of the Banshee's role, emphasizing the sense of dread and foreboding that accompanies her cry. Despite these modern interpretations, the core essence of the Banshee remains rooted in the ancient belief that she is a mourner, a spectral figure who reflects the profound sadness and inevitability of death. Her wail is not just a sound, but a powerful emotional experience, a reminder of the loss and grief that come with the end of life. The Banshee's story serves as a poignant symbol of the universal experience of mourning and the deep emotions that accompany the passing of loved ones. In every whisper of the wind and every mournful cry of the Banshee, there lies a reflection of the human condition, a reminder of the fragility of life and the profound sorrow that follows death. Her presence in folklore and culture continues to evoke a deep emotional response, capturing the essence of grief and the haunting beauty of the unknown. The Banshee's wail, with its echoes of loss and mourning, remains a powerful testament to the enduring impact of death on the human soul. In the shadowy recesses of ancient lore, where magic and mystery intertwine, the golem emerges as a figure of profound awe and unease. This being, crafted from clay and brought to life by mystical rites, stands as a powerful symbol of creation and control, resonating deeply with both Jewish mysticism and, intriguingly, Christian thought. The golem's origins lie in Jewish folklore, where it is described as an animated figure created through the intricate use of sacred words and rituals. The most famous of these tales speaks of a golem fashioned by Rabbi Judah Loew of Prague, who, through divine incantations, animated a creature of clay to protect his community from harm. This golem was both protector and sentinel, a physical embodiment of divine will and human creativity. In the tales, the golem is a creature of incredible strength, but with a simplicity of mind that makes it both a powerful ally and a source of deep-seated fear. It moves through the world as a mute guardian, its actions dictated entirely by the will of its creator. Yet, the golem is not without its own tragic dimension. Its existence, bound by the constraints of its creation, echoes the broader human struggle with autonomy and purpose. When the golem's creator fails to properly control or deactivate it, the creature's actions can turn from protective to destructive, reflecting the fragile balance between creation and chaos. Christian mythology, though not directly connected, has its own reflections of the golem-like figure. In the Christian context, there are tales of similar beings created through supernatural means, though they often take on different forms and functions. The idea of animated matter resonates with stories of divine intervention and miraculous events, where the boundaries between the created and the creator blur. The golem story intersects with these themes, highlighting a shared fascination with the power of words and the consequences of creating life. The theological significance of the golem is profound. At its core, the golem represents the potential and peril inherent in human creativity. Created through sacred rituals, it embodies the divine act of bringing forth life from inert matter, a process that mirrors the divine creation of the world. However, this act is fraught with challenges and dangers, as the golem's uncontrolled actions reveal the inherent risks of playing with forces beyond human comprehension. Symbolically, the golem stands as a powerful metaphor for the human desire to control and command. It is a tangible representation of the struggle between creator and creation, a reflection of the tension that exists when humans seek to harness divine power. The golem's ultimate tragedy lies in its inability to navigate the complexities of its existence, highlighting the limitations of human endeavors when faced with the vastness of the divine. The golem's influence extends beyond folklore into modern interpretations, where it continues to captivate and unsettle. In literature and film, the golem often appears as a figure of both wonder and terror, a reminder of the thin line between creation and destruction. These modern adaptations reflect ongoing themes of control and autonomy, resonating with contemporary fears and fascinations. The story of the golem, with its blend of mystical power and tragic consequences, offers a poignant reflection on the nature of creation and the responsibilities that come with it. Its presence in both Jewish and Christian traditions underscores a shared exploration of the boundaries between the divine and the human, between order and chaos. Through its silent and formidable existence, the golem continues to evoke a deep emotional response, capturing the essence of human creativity and the haunting possibilities that lie within it. In the dim recesses of ancient Christianity, where the shadows of belief and superstition intertwine, there exists a realm of lesser spirits known as the demons. These beings, shrouded in mystery and fear, occupy a unique place in early Christian demonology, reflecting a complex tapestry of spiritual belief and moral concern. The concept of the demons originates from ancient Greek thought, where the term referred to spirits or divinities that were neither wholly good nor evil, but rather neutral forces influencing human affairs. Early Christians inherited and adapted this idea, transforming the demons into entities with more defined roles in their spiritual cosmology. Unlike the malevolent demons of later Christian tradition, the demons of early Christianity were seen as intermediaries or minor spirits, often acting as agents of either divine will or spiritual interference. In early Christian writings, demons were classified into various types based on their perceived influence and nature. Some were considered benevolent, guiding or protecting individuals in their daily lives, while others were seen as mischievous or harmful, capable of causing illness or misfortune. This dual nature of the demons reflected the complexity of early Christian attitudes towards the spiritual world, where not all supernatural entities were viewed through the lens of absolute good or evil. The role of the demons in early Christian demonology was multifaceted. They were believed to interact with humans in ways that could be either beneficial or detrimental. For instance, a benevolent demon might assist in healing or offer guidance, while a malevolent one could sow discord or inflict suffering. This ambivalence highlighted a broader understanding of the spiritual realm, where forces were not always neatly categorized but were part of a dynamic interplay between divine and demonic influences. The early Christians' perception of the demons was shaped by their encounters with various pagan traditions and beliefs. As Christianity spread through the Roman Empire, it encountered a rich tapestry of spiritual practices, many of which included beliefs in spirits and lesser divinities. In response, Christian theologians sought to integrate or reinterpret these beliefs within a Christian framework, resulting in a complex and often contradictory view of the demons. This complex relationship with the demons also reflected the early Christians' attempts to understand and combat spiritual threats. The demons were seen as potential sources of temptation and danger, embodying the spiritual struggles faced by believers. As such, They were often the focus of exorcisms and other spiritual practices designed to purify individuals and protect them from malevolent influences. These practices underscored the ongoing battle between spiritual forces and the need for divine intervention to safeguard the faithful. The portrayal of demons in early Christian texts was often rich in symbolism and allegory, reflecting deeper spiritual and moral themes. They were not merely entities to be feared or placated, but were symbols of the internal and external struggles faced by individuals in their spiritual journeys. The stories and teachings about demons served as moral lessons, illustrating the consequences of succumbing to spiritual temptation and the importance of maintaining faith and vigilance. As Christianity evolved, the concept of the demons gradually shifted. They became more closely associated with the broader category of demons, reflecting a more unified and often darker view of supernatural beings. This evolution marked a shift in focus from the nuanced and ambivalent roles of the demons to a more polarized and absolute understanding of demonic forces. Yet, the legacy of the demons remains a poignant reminder of the early Christians' attempts to grapple with the complexities of the spiritual world. Their presence in early Christian thought reflects a deep and enduring fascination with the unseen forces that shape human experience, embodying both the fear and fascination that the supernatural invokes. In the echoes of ancient beliefs and the shadows of early Christian thought, the demons stand as a testament to the rich and often unsettling interplay between spirituality and superstition. Their role in early Christian demonology, with its blend of fear, reverence, and moral reflection, continues to resonate as a powerful reminder of the complexities of the spiritual realm and the enduring impact of ancient beliefs on modern understanding. In the ancient lore of Greece, amidst tales of gods and heroes, there lurked a creature so terrifying, it sent shivers down the spines of even the bravest warriors. This creature was the Empusa, a fearsome female demon known for her ability to shapeshift and seduce. Born from the union of darkness and deception, the Empusa's origins are rooted deeply in Greek mythology, but her terrifying presence transcended these boundaries and found a chilling place in Christian mythology as well. The Empusa, with her single, brass leg and flaming hair, was said to haunt the night, preying on unsuspecting travelers. She could transform her appearance to lure her victims, often appearing as a beautiful woman to seduce men before revealing her true, horrifying form. This ability to change shape and deceive made her an enduring symbol of fear, representing the dangers lurking beneath seemingly benign surfaces. As the stories of the Greek world spread and mingled with other cultures, the legend of the Empusa began to take root in early Christian thought. The transition from Greek mythology to Christian demonology was seamless, given the shared themes of temptation and the moral dangers of seduction. The Empusa's traits were adapted to fit the Christian narrative, where she became a symbol of the perils of straying from the path of righteousness. In Christian mythology, the Empusa was seen not just as a physical threat, but as a spiritual one. She embodied the dangers of lust and temptation, often targeting those who were weak in faith or morals. Her role was to lead the faithful astray, to lure them into sin and away from the light of God. This adaptation served as a powerful warning to believers about the consequences of succumbing to worldly temptations. The representations of the Empusa in Christian mythology retained much of the fearsome imagery from her Greek origins. She was depicted as a demonic figure, with one leg of brass and the other of a donkey, a grotesque combination that highlighted her unnatural and malevolent nature. Her ability to shapeshift remained a central aspect of her character, symbolizing the deceptive nature of sin and the ease with which it can disguise itself as something desirable. Despite her terrifying appearance, the Empusa's role in Christian mythology was not just to inspire fear, but also to convey important moral lessons. Her presence in the stories served as a reminder of the ever-present dangers of temptation and the need for vigilance in the face of spiritual threats. The tales of the Empusa were cautionary, illustrating the dire consequences of giving in to sinful desires and the importance of maintaining one's faith and integrity. The Empusa's influence extended beyond religious texts and into the broader cultural consciousness. Her story was retold in various forms, each time reinforcing the themes of temptation and deception. In medieval Europe, she became part of the folklore, a nightmarish figure used to warn against the dangers of straying from moral and spiritual paths. The tales of her exploits were whispered in the dark, serving as both entertainment and moral instruction. Through the centuries, the Empusa has remained a potent symbol of the darker aspects of human nature. Her story, with its blend of horror and moral teaching, continues to resonate, reminding us of the timeless struggle between good and evil and the constant need for vigilance against the seductive power of sin. The Empusa, with her origins in ancient Greece and her enduring presence in Christian mythology, stands as a testament to the universal themes of temptation and the consequences of moral weakness. In the quiet of the night, when shadows seem to move with a life of their own, the legend of the Empusa persists. She is a reminder of the unseen dangers that lie in wait, the seductive whispers of temptation that can lead us astray. Her story is a call to remain steadfast in our faith and morals, to recognize the deceptive allure of sin, and to remember that not all that glitters is gold. The Empusa's chilling tale, with its origins in the distant past, continues to hold relevance, echoing through the ages as a powerful reminder of the need for spiritual vigilance and the strength to resist the darkest temptations. In the dark, shadowy corners of ancient mythologies, there exists a creature so haunting and tragic that her story reverberates through the ages, sending chills down the spines of those who hear it. The Lamia, with her beautiful yet monstrous form, has long captured the human imagination, weaving a tale of sorrow, vengeance, and eternal damnation. Born from the rich tapestry of Greek mythology, the Lamia's story was later woven into Christian folklore, where she became a symbol of the seductive dangers that lie in wait for the unwary. Lamia's origins are steeped in tragedy. According to ancient Greek myths, she was once a queen of Libya, renowned for her beauty and grace. She caught the eye of Zeus, the king of the gods, and bore him children. However, this divine union sparked the jealousy of Hera, Zeus's wife, who cursed Lamia out of spite. In her rage, Hera took away Lamia's children, driving the once gentle queen to madness. Consumed by grief and vengeance, Lamia transformed into a monstrous figure, cursed to devour the children of others, forever seeking to fill the void left by her own loss. The Greeks described Lamia as a serpent-like creature with the upper body of a woman and the lower body of a snake. Her eyes, once filled with love and joy, became wide and unblinking, reflecting her eternal torment. Her beauty was a trap, luring unsuspecting victims to their doom. This duality of allure and horror made Lamia a powerful symbol of the dangers hidden beneath a veneer of charm. As the myth of Lamia spread and evolved, it found new life in Christian folklore. In this new context, Lamia's story was adapted to fit the moral and theological teachings of the time. She became a cautionary figure, warning against the perils of temptation and the consequences of straying from the path of righteousness. The seductive nature of Lamia, combined with her monstrous actions, made her an apt symbol of the deadly allure of sin. In Christian adaptations, Lamia was often depicted as a demoness who preyed on the weak and the vulnerable. She was said to lurk in the shadows, waiting to seduce and destroy those who lacked faith or moral fortitude. This portrayal reinforced the idea that evil could be both captivating and destructive, emphasizing the need for vigilance and spiritual strength. The symbolism of Lamia in Christian folklore extended beyond mere cautionary tales. She represented the eternal struggle between good and evil, faith and temptation. Her tragic backstory added a layer of complexity to her character, illustrating how suffering and loss could corrupt even the purest of souls. Lamia's transformation from a loving mother to a vengeful demoness served as a poignant reminder of the devastating impact of grief and the importance of forgiveness and redemption. Lamia's role in folklore was not limited to stories of moral instruction. She also became a part of the cultural fabric, inspiring works of art, literature, and theater. Her haunting image and tragic tale resonated with audiences, evoking both fear and sympathy. In many ways, Lamia became a symbol of the darker aspects of the human condition, a mirror reflecting our own inner demons and the consequences of succumbing to them. One of the most enduring aspects of Lamia's myth is her ability to evoke a sense of both horror and pity. Her story is not just one of a monstrous predator, but also of a woman broken by loss and driven to madness. This duality makes Lamia a deeply compelling figure, one whose tale continues to captivate and terrify. In literature, Lamia's influence can be seen in works such as John Keats's poem Lamia, which explores themes of love, deception, and the tragic consequences of desire. Keats's portrayal of Lamia as a beautiful enchantress who longs for human love, only to be undone by her true nature, echoes the ancient myths while adding a romantic and tragic dimension to her story. Lamia's presence in folklore also served to reinforce societal norms and values. Her story was used to caution against the dangers of lust, temptation, and the loss of innocence. By embodying these dangers, Lamia became a powerful tool for teaching moral lessons and promoting virtuous behavior. Her tale was a stark reminder of the thin line between beauty and horror, love and madness. Despite the passage of centuries, the legend of Lamia continues to endure. Her story, with its blend of tragedy and terror, remains a potent symbol of the complexities of the human experience. Lamia's transformation from a grieving mother to a fearsome demoness serves as a powerful metaphor for the ways in which pain and loss can warp the soul, turning love into hatred and beauty into monstrosity. In modern times, Lamia's myth has found new interpretations and adaptations, reflecting contemporary fears and anxieties. Yet, at its core, her story remains the same, a haunting reminder of the dual nature of humanity, the seductive power of sin, and the tragic consequences of unbridled vengeance. The Lamia, with her captivating allure and monstrous heart, continues to haunt our imaginations, a timeless embodiment of the darker side of our own nature. In the stillness of the night, when shadows grow long and the world falls silent, there are whispers of an ancient fear that creeps into the hearts of those who sleep. The Mara, with her sinister presence, has haunted the dreams of countless souls, leaving them paralyzed with terror. Originating from Scandinavian folklore, this night demon found her way into Christian mythology, weaving a tale that chills the soul and stirs the deepest fears within us. The Mara's origins are as mysterious as the darkness she inhabits. In ancient Scandinavian tales, she is depicted as a malevolent spirit, often taking the form of a beautiful woman who sits on the chest of her sleeping victims. Her presence brings with it a crushing weight, suffocating the sleeper and filling their dreams with unspeakable horrors. It is from this chilling image that the word nightmare is derived, a testament to the profound impact of her legend. As Christianity spread across Europe, the tale of the Mara was adapted into Christian mythology, transforming her from a pagan spirit into a demon of the night. This transition was marked by a deepening of her symbolic meaning, as she came to represent not only the fear of the unknown but also the spiritual battles fought in the dead of night. The Mara became a symbol of the darkness that lurks within, a manifestation of the inner demons that torment the soul. In Christian interpretations, the Mara was often linked to the concept of sin and spiritual weakness. Her nocturnal visits were seen as punishments or warnings, a sign that the victim had strayed from the path of righteousness. This added a layer of moral significance to her terrifying presence, making her not just a creature of the night but a reminder of the ever-present dangers of straying from one's faith. The Mara's influence extended beyond mere folklore, permeating the cultural consciousness of medieval Europe. She was often depicted in art and literature as a haunting figure, her beauty belying the terror she brought. These depictions served to reinforce her symbolic role as a deceiver, a being whose allure masked her true, malevolent nature. One of the most poignant aspects of the Mara's myth is the way she embodies the concept of the night terror. Those who experienced her visits would wake in a state of paralysis, their hearts racing and their minds filled with dread. This phenomenon, known as sleep paralysis, was often attributed to the Mara, who was believed to hold her victims in a grip of supernatural power. The sheer helplessness of these experiences made them all the more terrifying, leaving the victims with a lingering sense of vulnerability. In Scandinavian culture, the Mara was also associated with natural elements, particularly the moon and the night sky. She was believed to be a creature of the twilight, a being whose power waxed and waned with the lunar cycle. This connection to the moon added a layer of mysticism to her legend, linking her to the rhythms of nature and the ebb and flow of human emotions. As the Mara's legend spread, she came to symbolize a range of fears and anxieties. For some, she represented the fear of the unknown, the lurking dread of what lies beyond the veil of sleep. For others, she was a symbol of guilt and spiritual conflict, a reminder of the consequences of moral failings. In this way, the Mara's myth evolved to encompass a broad spectrum of human experience, making her a deeply resonant figure in the collective psyche. The symbolism of the Mara extends to her role as a bridge between the waking world and the realm of dreams. She exists in the liminal space between consciousness and unconsciousness, a place where reality and imagination blur. This makes her a potent symbol of the power of the mind, a reminder that our thoughts and fears can manifest in ways that are both terrifying and profoundly real. In literature, the Mara has been portrayed as both a victim and a villain. Some stories depict her as a tormented soul, cursed to wander the night in search of relief from her own suffering. Others portray her as a cunning seductress, preying on the weak and vulnerable. These varying interpretations highlight the complexity of her character, making her a figure of both empathy and fear. The Mara's influence can also be seen in modern depictions of night terrors and sleep paralysis. Contemporary horror stories often draw on the imagery of the Mara, using her as a metaphor for the uncontrollable fears that haunt us in the night. Her legend serves as a reminder that some of our deepest fears are not external threats, but internal struggles, battles fought within the confines of our own minds. Despite the passage of centuries, the Mara story continues to captivate and terrify. Her presence in folklore and mythology serves as a powerful reminder of the timeless nature of fear, the way it transcends cultures and eras to touch something fundamental within us. The Mara, with her chilling beauty and malevolent intent, remains a haunting symbol of the darkness that lies in wait, a night demon whose legend endures in the shadows of our dreams. In exploring the Mara's tale, we are reminded of the power of myth to capture the essence of human experience. Her story is not just one of terror, but of the complex interplay between light and darkness, hope and despair. The Mara stands as a testament to the enduring power of folklore to speak to the deepest parts of our souls, to stir our emotions and awaken our fears. She is a figure who haunts the night, a night demon whose legacy continues to resonate, reminding us of the ever-present shadows that lie just beyond the edge of sleep. The end of days, a time when the skies darken and the earth trembles with anticipation. Within the pages of the Book of Revelation, a vivid and terrifying portrait of this apocalyptic future is painted. Among the prophecies and visions, there are creatures of unimaginable horror, beasts whose descriptions send shivers down the spine and whose symbolic meanings are as profound as they are enigmatic. In the throes of divine revelation, John, the author of the final book of the New Testament, was granted visions of these apocalyptic beasts. The imagery is intense, filled with a sense of impending doom that grips the reader's heart. One of the most striking of these creatures is the beast from the sea. Emerging from the tumultuous waters, this beast has 7 heads and 10 horns, each head bearing a blasphemous name. Its appearance is a grotesque amalgamation of leopard, bear, and lion, each part symbolizing ferocity, power, and cruelty. The beast from the sea represents a force of chaos and destruction, a monstrous entity that embodies the ultimate challenge to divine order. The beast from the earth, another fearsome creature, rises from the ground like a dark omen. It has 2 horns like a lamb but speaks like a dragon, a deceptive being that appears gentle but is filled with malevolent power. This beast wields its influence through deceit, compelling the earth's inhabitants to worship the first beast. Its ability to perform great signs, even making fire come down from heaven, adds to its terrifying allure. The beast from the earth symbolizes false prophecy and corruption, a perversion of truth that leads humanity astray. Then there is the great red dragon, a creature of nightmarish proportions. With 7 heads, 10 horns, and a massive tail that sweeps 1/3 of the stars from the sky, the dragon stands as a symbol of ultimate evil. This beast, identified as Satan, is the adversary of God and humanity. The dragon's battle with the archangel Michael and his angels in heaven is a scene of cosmic conflict, a struggle between good and evil that echoes through the ages. The great red dragon represents the enduring presence of evil in the world, an ever-present threat that seeks to devour the righteous. The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, though not beasts in the traditional sense, are also pivotal in the apocalyptic narrative. Each rider on their spectral horse brings a different form of devastation upon the world. The first rider, on a white horse, carries a bow and is given a crown, symbolizing conquest and the spread of false peace. The second rider, on a red horse, wields a great sword, bringing war and bloodshed. The third rider, on a black horse, carries scales, representing famine and economic collapse. The fourth rider, on a pale horse, is death, with Hades following close behind, embodying the finality of mortality. Together, they signify the comprehensive nature of the apocalyptic destruction, a cascade of calamities that foretell the end of days. The descriptions of these apocalyptic beasts are not just exercises in terror, they are rich with symbolic and prophetic meaning. The 7 heads and 10 horns that appear on several of the beasts are often interpreted as representations of political and religious powers that stand in opposition to God's kingdom. The blasphemous names inscribed on the heads of the beast from the seeds signify the pervasive nature of these powers, their claims to divinity, and their ultimate defiance against the true God. The dual nature of the beast from the earth, with its lamb-like horns and dragon-like voice, speaks to the insidious nature of false prophets and corrupt leaders who mask their intentions behind a veneer of righteousness. This beast's ability to perform miraculous signs suggests the seductive power of deceit and the ease with which humanity can be led astray. The great red dragons fall from heaven, its pursuit of the woman clothed with the sun, and its eventual defeat are laden with symbolism. The woman is often seen as representing the people of God, and the dragon's pursuit signifies the ongoing persecution and tribulation faced by the faithful. The cosmic battle between Michael and the dragon highlights the ultimate triumph of good over evil, a message of hope and resilience amidst the chaos of the apocalypse. The 4 horsemen, with their respective roles in the apocalypse, illustrate the breadth of suffering and destruction that accompanies the end times. Each horseman brings a specific form of devastation, reflecting the multifaceted nature of the trials that humanity must endure. The imagery of the scales carried by the black horseman, for example, speaks to the scarcity and inequity that arise during times of famine and economic crisis. These apocalyptic beasts, with their terrifying forms and profound symbolism, serve as powerful reminders of the stakes involved in the cosmic battle between good and evil. They are not merely characters in a distant prophecy but representations of the forces that shape our world and our lives. The beasts challenge us to confront the darkness within and around us, to recognize the deceptive allure of false prophets, and to stand firm in the face of persecution and tribulation. The cultural impact of these beasts extends far beyond the pages of Revelation. They have inspired countless works of art, literature, and theology, each interpretation adding to the rich tapestry of meanings associated with them. From medieval manuscripts to modern films, the apocalyptic beasts continue to captivate and terrify, their images a potent reminder of the ever-present battle between light and darkness. In the end, the beasts of Revelation are more than just harbingers of doom. They are symbols of the complex interplay between power, corruption, and redemption. Their stories compel us to look beyond the surface, to seek the deeper truths hidden within the terrifying visions. They remind us that even in the darkest of times, there is hope, resilience, and the promise of ultimate victory. The apocalyptic beasts, with their fearsome forms and profound symbolism, remain enduring figures in the narrative of human existence, echoing the timeless struggle between good and evil that defines our world. In the stillness of a candlelit cathedral, shadows dance along the ancient stone walls, their shapes weaving tales of creatures both holy and horrific. Among these shadowed stories, one figure emerges, a beast unlike any other, born of myth and terror, a symbol of chaos and wonder. This is the Chimera, a creature whose very existence blurs the line between reality and nightmare. The Chimera, a beast of Greek origin, found its way into Christian mythology, bringing with it a rich tapestry of symbolic meanings. In its original form, the Chimera was a monstrous fire-breathing hybrid, part lion, part goat, and part serpent. This terrifying amalgamation of creatures symbolized the chaotic forces of nature, a living embodiment of fear and fascination. Its lion's head roared with power, the goat's body symbolized stubbornness and fertility, and the serpent's tail hissed with deadly cunning. Together, these elements formed a creature that was as much a puzzle as it was a terror. As Christianity spread and absorbed various cultural myths, the chimera was reimagined and reinterpreted. It became a symbol of the internal and external battles faced by the faithful. The beast's composite nature represented the struggle against sin and the multiplicity of temptations that assail the human soul. The lion's fierce nature was seen as pride and violence, the goat's stubbornness as lust and gluttony, and the serpent's cunning as deceit and envy. The chimera, thus, was not just a creature to be feared, but a mirror reflecting the inner turmoil and moral struggles of humanity. The chimera's influence on Christian art and literature is profound. In medieval manuscripts, the beast is often depicted in intricate illuminations, its grotesque form a stark reminder of the dangers lurking in the shadows of the human heart. These illustrations served as both warnings and moral lessons, teaching the faithful about the consequences of succumbing to sin. The chimera, with its multifaceted symbolism, became a powerful tool in conveying the complexities of the spiritual journey. In literature, the chimera's presence is equally impactful. Christian allegories and moral tales often featured the beast as a symbol of the ultimate test of faith and virtue. Heroes in these stories would confront the chimera, representing their own internal battles and the external challenges posed by a sinful world. The defeat of the chimera in these narratives signified the triumph of good over evil, the victory of faith and righteousness over temptation and sin. These tales were not just stories, but spiritual guides, offering hope and inspiration to those struggling with their own chimeras. The chimera's symbolic significance extends beyond individual morality to encompass broader themes of chaos and order. In the cosmic battle between good and evil, the chimera represents the chaotic forces that threaten to disrupt the divine order. Its hybrid nature, a blend of multiple creatures, embodies the disarray and confusion that arise when natural and moral laws are subverted. The struggle against the chimera, therefore, is also a struggle to restore balance and harmony, both within the self and in the world. In Christian iconography, the chimera is sometimes depicted in apocalyptic scenes, reinforcing its association with chaos and end times. These images serve to remind the faithful of the ever-present threat of sin and the importance of vigilance and steadfastness in their faith. The chimera, in this context, is a symbol of the ultimate test that will come at the end of days, a test that will reveal the true nature of every soul. Despite its fearsome appearance, the chimera also carries a message of hope and redemption. The very act of confronting and overcoming the chimera symbolizes the possibility of redemption and transformation. Just as the beast's composite form represents the fragmentation and chaos of sin, its defeat signifies the potential for wholeness and restoration through faith and virtue. The chimera, thus, is not just a symbol of fear, but also of the transformative power of grace and the promise of renewal. The chimera's enduring presence in Christian mythology, art, and literature is a testament to its powerful symbolism and the profound truths it conveys. It reminds us that the journey of faith is fraught with challenges and temptations, but also that victory is possible through perseverance and divine aid. The chimera, with its many forms and meanings, is a reflection of the complexities of the human condition and the eternal struggle between good and evil. In the flickering light of the cathedral, as the shadows of the chimera dance along the walls, we are reminded of our own battles and the constant need for vigilance and faith. The chimera's roar echoes the fears and doubts within us, but its ultimate defeat reassures us of the power of faith and the promise of redemption. The chimera, with all its terror and beauty, is a symbol of the human soul's journey toward wholeness and divine grace. High in the icy peaks of the Himalayas, where the air is thin and the world is cloaked in perpetual snow, there lies a mystery that has fascinated and terrified people for centuries. Amidst the desolate beauty of these towering mountains, tales are told of a creature, half man, half beast, whose presence sends shivers down the spine. This is the Yeti, a figure of legend and fear, whose story has crossed borders and cultures, finding a place even within Christian lore. The Yeti, also known as the abominable snowman, originates from the rich tapestry of Himalayan myths. For the indigenous people of Nepal and Tibet, the Yeti is a guardian of the mountains, a being both revered and feared. It is said to be a giant, covered in shaggy white fur, with immense strength and an eerie, human-like face. The Yeti is not merely a monster, it is a spiritual entity, a reminder of the vast, untamed wilderness that lies beyond human reach. As Christianity spread across the globe, missionaries and explorers encountered these local legends and began to weave them into their own religious narratives. The Yeti, with its mysterious and formidable presence, became a symbol of the unknown, a representation of the trials and tribulations faced by early Christians in their quest to spread the gospel. In this new context, the Yeti was seen as both a test of faith and a guardian of divine mysteries, its wild nature reflecting the untamed world that early missionaries sought to tame with their message of hope and redemption. In Christian adaptations, the Yeti was often portrayed as a being caught between the earthly and the divine. Its monstrous appearance and elusive nature made it a symbol of the spiritual wilderness, the dark, uncharted territories of the soul that believers must navigate in their journey toward God. The Yeti's icy habitat, so inhospitable and remote, was likened to the desolate spiritual landscapes that can challenge even the most devout. Yet, like the Yeti itself, these challenges were not without purpose. They were tests, designed to strengthen faith and resilience, drawing believers closer to the divine by forcing them to confront and overcome their fears. Culturally, the Yeti took on a dual significance. On one hand, it was a cautionary figure, warning against straying too far from the path of righteousness into the wilderness of sin and doubt. On the other hand, it was a symbol of the ultimate mystery of God's creation, a reminder that there are forces and creatures beyond human understanding, all part of the divine plan. The Yeti's presence in Christian lore underscored the idea that faith involves venturing into the unknown, trusting in God's guidance even when the path is fraught with danger and uncertainty. Symbolically, the Yeti represented the struggle between the known and the unknown, the familiar and the alien. Its towering form and fearsome reputation highlighted the vastness of God's creation and the smallness of human understanding. In art and literature, the Yeti was often depicted as a shadowy figure on the fringes of human settlement, a constant reminder of the wild, untamed world that lay beyond the boundaries of civilization. This imagery reinforced the idea that faith requires courage and a willingness to face the unknown, trusting that God is present even in the most desolate and frightening places. The Yeti's integration into Christian lore also had a profound cultural impact. It bridged the gap between Eastern and Western mythologies, showing how different cultures can intersect and enrich each other's narratives. The Yeti, a creature of Himalayan legend, became a part of Christian storytelling, illustrating the universality of certain themes and the shared human fascination with the mysterious and the sublime. This cultural exchange highlighted the adaptability of Christian mythology, its ability to incorporate and transform local legends into powerful symbols of faith and spirituality. In Christian art, the Yeti was often depicted with a mixture of awe and fear, its imposing figure a testament to the power and mystery of God's creation. These depictions serve to inspire believers, reminding them of the majesty and complexity of the world God created. The Yeti's image was a call to humility, a reminder that human beings are but a small part of a vast and wondrous universe, filled with creatures and mysteries beyond their comprehension. The Yeti's role in Christian mythology was not just that of a monster to be feared, but also a guardian of divine secrets, a being that stood at the threshold of the known and the unknown. It was a symbol of the spiritual journey, the path that every believer must walk, often through fear and uncertainty, to reach a deeper understanding of their faith. The Yeti, in its Christian adaptation, became a powerful emblem of this journey, a reminder that true faith requires facing the unknown with courage and trust in God's guiding hand. In the end, the story of the Yeti in Christian mythology is a testament to the enduring power of myth and the ways in which different cultures can shape and transform each other's stories. The Yeti, once a creature of Himalayan legend, became a symbol of faith and mystery in Christian lore, a figure that continues to captivate and inspire. Its story is a reminder that the journey of faith is one of constant discovery, a path that leads through the wilderness of the unknown to the ultimate truth of God's love and presence. In the dimly lit corners of ancient texts and the whispered tales passed down through generations, there are creatures whose presence has shaped the very fabric of Christian mythology. These unknown beings, shrouded in mystery and fear, have left an indelible mark on the collective consciousness of believers. Their stories, rich with symbolism and hidden meanings, continue to resonate deeply, even in the modern era. One cannot ignore the way these creatures embody the eternal struggle between good and evil. Take the Nephilim, the giants of the pre-flood world, who were born from the union of fallen angels and human women. Their towering forms and immense power served as stark reminders of the consequences of straying from divine law. They were symbols of hubris and the corruption of purity, their existence a testament to the perilous path of defiance against God's will. Their story echoes the themes of judgment and redemption that are central to Christian teachings. Lilith, often considered the first wife of Adam, stands as a figure of rebellion and the untamed feminine spirit. Her refusal to submit, her departure from Eden, and her transformation into a demonic entity have made her a symbol of the complex dynamics between obedience and independence. Lilith's tale is woven into the fabric of Christian mythology, representing the fear and fascination with the feminine power that defies patriarchal norms. She is a reminder of the consequences of rejecting divine order, yet also an emblem of the struggle for equality and autonomy. The Grim Reaper, with his skeletal frame and scythe, personifies death in a form that is both terrifying and inevitable. His image has haunted the imaginations of believers for centuries, serving as a constant reminder of mortality and the transient nature of life. The Grim Reaper's presence in Christian art and literature underscores the belief in an afterlife, where the soul's journey continues beyond the physical realm. He is the gatekeeper, the one who ushers souls from the temporal world to the eternal, embodying the profound mystery of life and death. The Banshee, with her mournful wail, is a figure that brings chills to the heart. Originating from Celtic Christian folklore, she foretells death and loss, her cries a harbinger of sorrow. The Banshee's role in Christian mythology highlights the deep connection between emotion and the supernatural. Her presence is a stark reminder of the grief that accompanies death, the pain of losing loved ones, and the inevitability of our own mortality. She is the voice of lament, echoing through the ages, reminding us of the fragility of life. The Golem, born from Jewish mysticism and incorporated into Christian folklore, represents the power of creation and the dangers of playing God. This animated being, brought to life through sacred rituals, symbolizes humanity's desire to harness divine power. Yet, the Golem's uncontrollable nature serves as a warning against overreaching and the ethical dilemmas of creating life. Its story is a reflection on the limits of human authority and the moral responsibilities that come with wielding such power. The demons of ancient Christianity, classified and catalogued, embody the myriad forms of evil that believers must guard against. These lesser spirits, each with their own temptations and vices, remind Christians of the constant spiritual warfare they face. The demons' roles in early Christian demonology highlight the ongoing battle between virtue and vice, reinforcing the need for vigilance, prayer, and reliance on divine strength. The Impusa and the Lamia, with their seductive and terrifying forms, illustrate the dangers of succumbing to carnal desires and the consequences of leading others astray. These female demons, rooted in Greek mythology and adapted into Christian narratives, serve as cautionary tales about the perils of lust and deception. Their stories are warnings against moral corruption and the seduction of sin, emphasizing the importance of purity and self-control in the Christian faith. The Mara, night demons of Scandinavian influence, invade the dreams of the faithful, embodying the fears and anxieties that plague the subconscious. Their presence in Christian mythology speaks to the inner struggles and spiritual battles that believers face, even in their sleep. The Mara's haunting visits are reminders of the ever-present nature of spiritual warfare and the need for constant vigilance and faith. In modern Christianity, the legacy of these unknown creatures continues to influence and inspire. Their stories, though ancient, find relevance in contemporary discussions about morality, spirituality, and the human condition. They serve as powerful metaphors for the challenges and temptations that believers encounter in their daily lives. The enduring presence of these beings in Christian thought reflects the timeless nature of the themes they represent: the battle between good and evil, the quest for redemption, and the pursuit of a life aligned with divine principles. As symbols, these creatures have transcended their mythological origins to become integral parts of the Christian narrative. They appear in sermons, literature, and popular culture, each iteration adding layers to their rich tapestry. They are invoked in discussions about faith, morality, and the human experience, their stories offering insights and lessons that resonate across generations. The influence of these creatures extends beyond the confines of religious texts. They have permeated art, music, and literature, inspiring countless works that explore the depths of human nature and the divine. From medieval manuscripts to modern films, the legacy of these beings is evident in the way they continue to captivate and challenge the imagination. They remind us of the power of storytelling and the profound impact that myths and legends have on shaping our understanding of the world and our place within it. In the end, the unknown creatures of Christian mythology serve as mirrors reflecting the complexities of the human soul. They challenge us to confront our fears, question our beliefs, and strive for a deeper understanding of the divine. Their stories, rich with symbolism and emotion, continue to inspire and provoke, urging us to seek the truth and embrace the mysteries of faith.